Today, I would like to tell you about how our agency uses these wonderful tools like AI, automation, and Metaverse. Actually, it will be all about our real experience of our agency work. So I hope it will be useful for you because maybe you will just also implement some scenarios, maybe not, maybe you're already using something like this. If yes, please share in the comments. So first of all, a little bit about me. I'm Olga Bondareva, and before starting my own agency 5 years ago, I started with working at Microsoft, and there I was responsible for social media, and I was responsible for employee advocacy and social selling projects as well. And there I first actually found out what is social selling and started helping salespeople and some other employees to build their personal profiles on LinkedIn and other platforms. So it was an exciting time. I really loved it. And I continue working with social media, with personal profiles and with LinkedIn here at our agency. And this is our team in Faces, many positive and wonderful people from different countries, and we are a remote team because we live in different places, all of us. So this is why, it's our work is from home mostly, and I'm at my home studio right now. So if you also work from home, you can share it with us too in the comments, because I think that this is actually an art to productively work from home. If you can manage it, if you do it, you are great. So what is social selling actually? Because our conference is called Social Selling Tech, and I use this phrase a lot in my speech. What is social selling is expert social media profile development to acquire potential clients, partners, or employees. And here we are talking about personal profiles mostly, not company profile, because when you use personal profiles for communication in B2B segment, for example, in this case, it works much better because people trust people, not companies, maybe fortunately, maybe unfortunately. But of course, we need to use this this is a psychological thing that people trust people. And of course, main platform for us is LinkedIn. This is why we're going to have the next keynote session from a LinkedIn representative, because actually everything happens here on LinkedIn, and even our event is here. And of course, you can find a lot of interesting opportunities here, career opportunities and business opportunities. So this is the wonderful platform. And I would like to start with my personal story. I would like to share it with you, because actually when ChatGPT was launched, it changed my life a lot, quite completely, I would say. And before ChatGPT, when it was just usual life, the previous era before ChatGPT, I felt a little bit maybe emotionally burnt out. I was tired and I couldn't find my inspiration. And it was hard for me to work because I felt, I don't know, not meaningless of life, but it was hard period for me. Maybe I was too tired, too emotionally exhausted. And when ChatGPT was launched, this is a different picture, because I actually felt inspired, because I felt that this is actually the new world begins. And of course, it's not going to work like this, that robots will just work instead of us and we'll just rest or, I don't know, do something else. Of course, it doesn't work this way, but ChatGPT and other generative neural networks, they really are game changers. They change our experience, how we do things. And I was so excited, I was so inspired by this. So my emotional burnout just disappeared. I was so energetic, and I started just teaching my team and started implementing some new tools myself because of that. And I was so inspired, and I even started exploring some other neural networks like visual, for example, visual ones. And I started creating AI generated videos with different tools. It was very hard, but but interesting to do this. And started, of course, using some pictures generated with AI, with Midjourney and some other just neural networks. So it was very exciting for me, and I loved it very much, and I'm still using it. Actually, I even started a course about, not launched course, I started studying at this course about videos created with neural networks. So yeah, it was very important for me to do something like this on my own. And this new era of automation, of AI, just also inspired me to implement some automation tools in our agency work. Because before, I was completely against automation. I was thinking that everything what we do on LinkedIn and other platforms, we need to do it manually. This is the only right thing, and everything else is wrong. We should only do it manually. But we decided to try using automation in some projects, of course, only for clients who approved it. And it's actually very inspiring, because with automation, we can create this kind of interaction, which is impossible with the manual approach. For example, we have do so many things with just one profile, like we can follow it, comment, like, and we can just do many things with one person. But when we do it manually, it's just very hard to manage all of it. So this is why we started implementing LinkedIn automation with some of our clients. And this is how we actually explored new client segments for our agency, because when we use automation, of course, these services are cheaper comparing to manual services, right? Of course, because automation optimizes human work. And this is why we started offering cheaper services, and we just opened up the new client segments of small and medium businesses, because previously we worked mostly with large corporations, and for us this is the good thing, because we diversify. In crisis, it's very important to have a diverse portfolio of clients and projects. This is why, this new era of ChatGPT and new wave of automation really inspired me and changed a lot of things. And what I want to share is how our agency uses these different tools like ChatGPT, automation of LinkedIn profiles, Midjourney, and some other visual neural networks, and how we use Metaverse a little bit. I will also share how we do this. First of all, ChatGPT, how we use that. Here, it's very important that it helps us to overcome some creative blocks and this fear of just empty file, empty paper. And we can just start doing things faster and more productive in our social selling activities. And for example, when we struggle without ideas, or we need to learn more, and we need some additional perspective, ChatGPT really helps us. How we actually use it? For example, it can help us to formulate a positioning on social media, on LinkedIn, for example. I'm sharing the ChatGPT prompt with you. Probably it's too small, for you to read all of it. But we will share the material during this conference. We will be sharing some valuable materials with you, and one of them will be the presentation, the slides, PDF document with different prompts, ChatGPT prompts for different scenarios of social selling, like for positioning, content, messaging, etc., etc. So we will be sharing it a bit later, and you will see the QR code in our presentation. So yeah, you will get it if you want. So actually, we can, for example, ask ChatGPT to generate, for example, personal branding positioning or LinkedIn positioning for me. I can give it some details, some context, and it can give me some like positioning description. Sometimes it's just by points, like positioning message, target audience, etc., etc. Sometimes it's just the plain text with many details. So you can try doing this on your own and get some of your positioning descriptions. And actually, here is the life hack. On ChatGPT, now they have this function of custom instructions. You can go to settings, and it doesn't matter you have a paid account or you have a free account. You have this feature anyway. Yeah, you can go to custom instructions, to just to settings, go to custom instructions and set up some, just some instructions for yourself. For example, you can tell ChatGPT who you are, what's important to you, and how ChatGPT should behave. Because actually, when you do this, ChatGPT will be more accurate and more specific for your needs. And you shouldn't always give the additional context for that, because you already actually once you gave it to ChatGPT and it will use it in any prompt. So this is a life hack. Next, we can use ChatGPT for LinkedIn profile design. I will just show you some examples. Like, this is our client's profile. Sergey is the professor of Georgia State University in Atlanta, and he has a very interesting content about neural networks and neuroimaging. So this is exciting. And this is his headline, profile headline. This is great and well structured. But you can also use ChatGPT to create something from like on your own without any help, without agency help or a consultant help, using this prompt. We will be sharing all of this prompt with you, so don't worry, you will get it. But I think that the main idea here is that you use the specific structure in the prompt, like position, add company, short description, keywords, regalia, and something else. And when you give ChatGPT the certain structure of how it should look like, in this case, you get the right result. If you don't give the certain structure, ChatGPT, this is a collective consciousness, so it just gives you some cliche options. For example, these symbols, like you can see them on my slides, these different symbols, I specifically ask not to use these symbols because some people like them, but for me it's a little bit old-fashioned. But if you like this, please use. No one will judge you. But I'm trying to avoid this. This is why I specifically asked ChatGPT to avoid these symbols. So I get some results. I can get, for example, about 20 headlines or even more. And I can modify them, I can choose from them, or I can combine them and create something on my own, something cool and different from what ChatGPT created. So what else ChatGPT can do? Of course, it can assist you with, for example, creating your about section and some other descriptions. You can do, actually, I created my about section myself, but I usually do proofreading and checking grammar with ChatGPT because it's very convenient. It shows how it can be different, and what I can change. And this is the great grammar teacher and proofreader for you. You can use it too if you would like. one more scenario, how we use ChatGPT and some other AI tools is to create content, of course. But if you create content from scratch using ChatGPT, for example, this is, people just will feel it. You probably know it because you saw this content a lot, I suppose, and you can just notice it because when people see this content a lot, they calibrate to identify it. And when they identify it, they just feel that you're the artificial person, right? Because you post this content. This is your content. This is why we need to be careful here. And what we can do, first of all, we can generate some post ideas, because ideas actually can be pretty, for example, general, but when you create your own post based on this idea, it will be unique. It will be interesting content, and people will love it because it's based on your personal experience, not just some AI generated content from scratch. This is the prompt example. Here I also give some context about the person I'm generated the ideas for. Like, this is marketing manager, and some professional interests of this person, some personal topics like hobbies, interests, etc. And of course, I get some topics generated for me, and I can just pick them and conduct the interview with this person and get this information and create the completely unique post. Or, for example, I can maybe just even change something in this question if I don't like it, and create my own unique questions for this person, and we can do this. Actually, for myself, sometimes I can also generate topics, and I can record the answer to these topics, and then using some neural networks, I can just create a transcript, and based on this transcript, I can put it to ChatGPT and ask to structure it and to create posts from it. So this is really time saving, comparing to the process when you just, this is you and your empty Word document or your empty LinkedIn window where you need to write something from scratch. Sometimes it's just, scary and confusing. So you need some basis to rely on first, and then you can create your content based on it. So one more life hack, how to create content if you, for example, struggle, you don't have a lot of ideas, you don't know what to post about, or even you have an imposter syndrome and you just doubt yourself and you don't know whether you're expert or not, should you share something or not. Actually, sometimes I also feel this way. I think it's normal for people. What you can do here, you can find a brilliant post from an influencer or a potential client or partner. You really love this post and you think that this is the great post, this is a very valuable content and you would like to share it, this is cool. But instead of just clicking share button, you can ask ChatGPT to create a summary post for you based on this text. And when you create this summary post, of course, you mention the author of this initial post. Of course, you can tag this person on LinkedIn and give some compliments to the initial posts and provide some maybe short summary or plan of this post or key insights of these posts. And in this case, the author of this post will be pleased when that you actually complimented this post and you thought that it's very useful. So you even created your own, for example, summary based on their initial posts. And they will comment on that or just like your post, put in some reactions. this is okay, because when they put reactions or comments, your reach of your posts, the number of views, of course, they grow, because of these LinkedIn algorithms that you need to get some interactions with your content. And this is why this life hack is, I think, it's great, and you can use it, of course, if you only post summary posts and nothing else. It doesn't work, but if you do it from time to time, it will be a great tool for you. This is a result example, but it's too small. We'll share these slides with you. And one more life hack is use references. Actually, when we are talking about visual neural networks like Midjourney and some other visual neural networks, in this case, we just are in habit of thinking about references. For example, you can say, create me a picture in Salvador Dali style, or Picasso style, or I don't know, someone else's style. And this is just natural behavior for visual neural networks, because you saw a lot of different pictures, photos, and comics, etc. So you can just use these references and create something in the style you want, you really would like to see. But you can do the same for texts, actually, and it's not very obvious, but you can do this. And we are implementing this approach to our agency too. You can use some references. For example, you like how some influencers or journalists or someone else writes. They write perfectly for you. It's engaging. This is cool. This is simple. And you like it very much. And you can also ask ChatGPT to use this reference and create a post, for example, in someone else's style. This is much easier, because if you don't give some references, ChatGPT, as usual, just uses some cliche, of course, and you probably don't like the text which ChatGPT generates, because it uses a lot of cliche phrases and it's not very interesting. But when you use references, it's much better. So what kind of references you can use? I actually asked ChatGPT about it because I was just wondering what it's gonna suggest. And what kind of references ChatGPT suggested for me for creating engaging LinkedIn posts. You can see them on the slide, like Simon Sinek, Adam Grant, and some other interesting people, and even Harvard Business Review. Actually, I think that Harvard Business Review, they have a very nice language and very interesting and engaging. So you can use this reference and ask ChatGPT to, for example, create your LinkedIn posts in Harvard Business Review style. Why not? Try it just and share. It's interesting how it's gonna work for you. So these references were suggested by ChatGPT, but of course, if you know some influencers, some maybe famous people, some famous writers like Ernest Hemingway, and someone else, you can use these references and create your own great and engaging texts. Actually, of course, you can use ChatGPT to check grammar and proofread your posts, as I mentioned before. Yeah, some examples. And you can use it for your networking activities on LinkedIn and other platforms. For example, you can give some context about the person you would like to start your conversation, and ask ChatGPT to create a post, to create a message, networking message based on that. And of course, maybe you will not like it, but it's the basis. The structure you get. You can create something else on the base of this post. It will be much easier and time saving. So this is an example. And you can personalize your messages when you, for example, you take someone's post and can ask ChatGPT, please create a message based on this post. And actually, I like it very much how ChatGPT does it, because actually it's a very personalized not post, but message. And you can use it and people will love it because they feel that you don't just spam with the same messages, you read their posts and you have some thoughts about it. Of course, you need to review it and maybe add some your thoughts here. But anyway, you can start with just generating it. And actually, the secret of using ChatGPT for us is the more specific we are, the more effective we are. Actually, the better results we get. This is true because when we give the certain structures, certain references to ChatGPT, we get much better results comparing to the situations when we just ask questions or just ask ChatGPT to do something. And what else we use in our agency? We use automation for LinkedIn profiles. As I mentioned, not for every profile, but for some profiles where our clients agree to do this. What you can automate? You can automate visiting profiles, sending connection requests, following, likes and comments, sending messages, and it can be pretty effective, and even endorsing skills, by the way. Yeah, it can be pretty effective when you, for example, go around the one person with a lot of different interactions, and this person will definitely notice you after so many interactions around, and you can start the meaningful conversation with this person. There are so many automation tools on the market, and actually I get the sales messages from some automation tools every week, sometimes several messages from them. So there are so many tools. This is why I would recommend just to ask for recommendation from people you know, what kind of tools they use and what kind of tools are better, because actually there are so many of them, you will be lost. So I wouldn't recommend any of tools just because it would be an ad, but you can just ask people around, some experts you know, and choose the right tools. And what else? So what also we use? We use Midjourney for events and social media. For example, we generated this event picture for our event in Midjourney. And of course, we use some other neural networks. For example, the prompt of our event visual was three rubber ducks actually levitate, blah, blah, blah. So you can see it here on the slide. And this is how we got this, I think, pretty beautiful ducks to use, because actually ducks is one of our agency symbols. This is why we wanted to add them to make it more fun. And of course, sometimes I use visual neural networks for my posts, but actually on LinkedIn, it doesn't look natural when you use pictures. It's better to use your own photos. It's much better, more interesting. But sometimes when you want to, I don't know, visualize it in some crazy way or in some very creative way, of course, you can use visual neural networks. And if you just want to, I don't know, to see something nice, you can also use neural networks or just funny. For example, I created some pictures. If LinkedIn was a human, if Twitter was a human, and so other, just for fun. And actually, LinkedIn was very creepy, I would say. You can try it in Midjourney and other visual neural networks. And the last thing we use in our agency is Metaverse. We don't use it a lot, but we used it once for our internal event. We actually had a winter holidays party in Metaverse, and it was a lot of fun because we had different rooms for different purposes. I was speaking on the real stage, you know, and we had some informal parts with games too. And we are going to have a Halloween party in Metaverse too. So we like this approach very much. And I plan maybe to do something for our clients in Metaverse, because it's also can be an interesting and new experience for them. As a summary, I would like to say that as an agency, we use ChatGPT, we use automation, we use Midjourney and other visual neural networks, and we use some Metaverse for events because this is fun. So as for me, this is the QR code to my LinkedIn profile. So I would be happy to connect with you, or you can follow me if you would like. And if you have any questions regarding my presentation, regarding our agency work, you can reach out to me by email or LinkedIn. My email is here, Olga at ModumUp.com. So you can just reach out to me.